when I first joined my team, fresh out of college, I was working with this principal engineer. He had this, as you said, he wasn't thinking just small. He was thinking like, okay, let's make this dashboard for networking engineers across the whole organization to make changes to their network devices. I was like, absolutely great.
Yes.
He needed a software engineer to help him work on it. I'm like, hey, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
I started working on this thing. I did demos with him. I showed the team. I told my manager from time to time, oh, I am working on this thing in addition to, like small other things here and there, right? And then I think I spent like 6 months to a year working on this thing. Finally done. I showed them. They were like, oh, it's great. Everything works well. It's great. And I was like, okay, when are we going to ship this thing and then have people start using it? And they were like, oh, no. We're not going to ship it. I was like,
what?
Yeah, what? Like, what do you mean we're not going to ship it? They were like, yeah, it's just a proof of concept. But then when I was working on it, I didn't know it was just a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Right? If I had known at the time, there was more important work that I could have been aligning myself to.
Yes.
And I also didn't take time to speak with my manager and tell him, yo, this thing that I'm doing, this thing that I'm spending hours on, this thing that I'm grinding on, will this thing get me to that next level, right? How important is this thing in your eye, right? And if I had done those things, then would I have worked on that thing? Maybe not.
Yes.
But ultimately, at the end of that 6 months, I found that my time was somewhat wasted. I did learn, but in the grand scheme of things, because obviously I was trying to get to that next level, if you don't have those conversations and then understand that, okay, hey, everybody has their own agenda and how you fit into that agenda, it's important. And if you don't have your own agenda, people will start to use you within their own agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the example you gave, right?
Yeah.
What if the principal left, right? Like, so you spent 6 months, 9 months, that was your project of pride.
Yeah.
And he leaves. Of course, it's not going to get shipped any longer, right? It probably won't get shipped.
Exactly.
But you spent all this time. And that goes back to something we spoke about when we were talking about like collaboration with your manager. Mm-hmm. You want your manager to be very, very clear about what he knows, what the impact of the work you're doing is to business, right? So you could have a conversation about like, oh yeah, so this thing I'm building, right? How does it impact who the customer is, other network engineers? This thing I'm building, how does it impact whoever your customer persona is? How does it help them do better? How does it make them more efficient? But if you don't get all those things, if it is all fluff and you're not getting a what next, this is what is going to happen. If you're not aligned on those things, you can spend a lot of your energy and your time working on people's pet projects.